This is NHTV2, North Haven Government Television, a service of North Haven Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of the town of North Haven.
Okay, folks, welcome to the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for the month of November 2018. My name is Vern Carlson, and I am the chairman of the commission. Before we get started, let me introduce our staff to you. Out to my extreme right is Andy Belavacqua. He is our town engineer. Next to him is Alan Fredrickson, land use administrator. And over to my extreme left is Mary Lee Radjewski, our court reporter. Next to her is Pam Miller, our staff secretary. And with that, we go over to our commission.
Jim Giletti, regular member.
Teresa Ranciano-Vili, regular member.
Ron Penton, Vice Chairman.
Richard Wilson, Secretary.
Joe Salamini, alternate.
Okay, with that, first off, Alan, before we get into anything here, has there been any changes to the agenda?
Yes, there are a couple of changes. Item number 1, application P1824, application of Excited LLC applicant to amend the regs has been withdrawn by the applicant. So that will not be heard tonight, nor at any time, unless they reapply. Also, application number P1837, site plan application of K Brothers LLC relative to 224 Quinnipiac Avenue has been postponed to December. They don't have a wetland approval yet. That's it.
Okay, very good, thank you, Alan. Well, who set last month in respect to, let me get this out of the way. The folks, for those who don't know how this process works, is that the applicant will present the application to the commission, and the commission will satisfy their questions, and then on the public hearings, we will open it up to the public. We'll hear anything you might have to say about input, in opposed, in favor, or questions. Then we go on to site plans, and if there's site plans, there is no public input, so that will just the commission, and of course, in deliberation, there is no public input. Well, with that being said, Alan, who set last month in respect to P18-30?
You did, Teresa did, Ron did, Rich did, and I think Lou Borelli's not here. Joe and Jim did not sit, and I think you're down to 4 at this point.
Well, did Jim, let me ask you this, did you have an opportunity to watch the tape at all?
I did not. I believed it was Ed who sat, and Ed didn't contact me until today about 6:30 and say he wasn't coming. So I did not see that presentation.
Okay. Joe?
I did not watch it.
You did not watch it. Okay, so we're down to four commissioners.
I think that's correct. And you may be right, it might have been out of
Either
Indian
way,
Jack,
it doesn't-
but
I
you
don't
got
know.
4.
Either way,
Wasn't
We're
me.
down to 4. And in any event, well, that's what we're gonna go with. We're gonna go with the 4 commissioners on that application. With that being said, would you, with our secretary,
Yes.
Rich, would you read the P18-30 into the record?
Sure. So P18-30, continuation of the applicant Timothy J. Lee, applicant proposed amendment to the North Haven zoning regulations to modify the non-residential and commercial use requirement of section 5.1.3.1, I'm sorry, .16.5. Proposed amendment is on file in the land use office and in the office of the town clerk.
Okay, would the, Tim, step up?
Thank you. Once again, for the record, my name is Tim Lee. I
suppose I'm the applicant in this, but I'm representing a client by the name of Vigliotti Construction. And we had some discussion at last month's public hearing regarding our application to amend the text to the Upper Washington District. And right now, in short, the Upper Washington District allows multi-family development of up to 150 units, along with a component that's commercial. And the way the regulation is written, 20% of the complex has to be commercial, and the remaining 80% can be residential. There's a maximum under the regulation of 150 units, residential dwelling units, per the entire zoning district. My client has a contract to purchase property at 441 and 447 Washington Avenue. And they are interested in taking advantage of the Upper Washington area zone. However, when they did their site plan analysis, they realized that the regulation didn't work for what they were trying to accomplish. And they asked me to come back before you in order to seek an amendment to the text of the regulation. The amendment would, in essence, reduce the amount of commercial required under the regulation to 10% from 20%. So, in short, that's what we're proposing. We're proposing reducing the requirement from 20% to 10% for the commercial. Under the regulation, we would still be required to submit or up to 150 residential dwelling units. We are making this request for a couple different reasons. The properties my client have identified on Washington Avenue fall within the district. However, one property has frontage on Washington Avenue. The other property is a rear lot. My client's an experienced developer, and what he says is it doesn't make any sense to have commercial on the rear lot because you're not going to attract any business. There's no street frontage. People can't see it from the street. There's no visibility. In addition, when we designed the site, the architect designed the site just didn't work from a functionality perspective based on the regulation. So we're here before you seeking that amendment. We made the presentation last month. I don't want to go through it all again, but at the end of the public hearing, some of the commissioners expressed a desire to see a schematic site plan to show you what we could actually do on the site. So I do have the engineer, or do have the architect, Ray Sullivan here. Ray, if I can just... We have put together a schematic site plan that shows we can accomplish what we want to accomplish on the site. We do have the frontage on Washington Avenue is right here. This is 447. I think this is 441. This is the rear lot. There's an auto muffler place in front of the property. So we were proposing having the 10% commercial in the building that fronts Washington Avenue, and then with the residential component in the rear building would be all residential. There was some concern expressed last month by some of the commission members as to whether we could accommodate parking on this site for both the residential use and the commercial use. The short answer is yes, and we can do it in a couple of different ways. We did take notice of the commission's consideration of the application for Fantasia, and in Fantasia, the commission required 20% excess parking spaces over and above the regulations. Although we think our plan would be better if we didn't have 20% extra parking spaces, we can accomplish that on this site. Under our design, basically the project would require under the zoning regulations, would require 179 parking spaces. We can design this site so that it has 215 parking spaces. That's 36 parking spaces over and above which would be required by your regulations. That's a 20% increase. Obviously, with additional parking spaces, there's a trade-off. There's less green space. So I also have a plan tonight that shows basically 15% extra parking spaces. It shows 26 parking spaces over and above what's required under the regulations, and some additional green space. And we also have a plan that meets the regulations with a couple extra parking spaces. And obviously, with less parking spaces, there's more green space. But the point of the schematic drawings are that we can meet the commission's desire to have additional parking spaces, if that's what the commission's interested in seeing on the site. If the commission's also interested in seeing more green space, we can certainly accommodate that too, and it really is going to come down to the preference of the commission on that point.
Have you taken a look at the two plans, if you sort of mix them together a little bit, you could get a little more green and still have some excess parking?
The answer is, yeah, it's almost a sliding scale. We can submit a plan that meets the parking requirements. Parking requirements require 179 parking spaces. We have a plan that shows 182 parking spaces and additional green space. We also have a plan that maxes out at 20% over the parking calculations that shows 36 more parking spaces than's required, and basically we could do anything in the middle. So we could do one parking space more than what's required in the regulations, or we could do 36 parking spaces more than is required under the regulations, or anything in between.
Okay. Well, I guess we got pretty much straightened out there. Teresa, you want to talk to Tim?
I'd love to talk to
On the other
Tim.
side.
Sure.
One second, Pam, did you take down the way he wants this, the amendment to read? Okay. Go ahead.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
so the trade-off, you're going down to 10% commercial. Now,
Correct.
you do, I mean, I'm assuming that the developer understands that there's a 10% affordable component in here?
He does.
Okay,
And he also has affordable housing in other buildings that he has, so he's familiar with the affordable housing project and process and what's required under it.
I mean, there's a reason we want the 20% as opposed to 10 in the commercial part. So I'm interested in knowing, kicking up the commercial, the affordable component a little bit. In trade-off, really, I've always been a proponent for more than 10% affordable anyway. So I'm just throwing that out there. I would like to maybe see a little more affordable in this plan. Thank you for considering the parking. I'm going to throw it over to everybody else, but that's one of the considerations that I have.
Okay.
Okay?
Ron, you want to pick it up from here? Or?
You mentioned the sort of three different flavors in the
Right.
sliding scale. Is it safe to assume, Tim, that all of those, for the amount of open space or green space, meet the minimum regulation requirements?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the question I have right now.
Okay.
Tim,
Rich?
you've got three plans?
Well, no, we brought schematics here today.
Yeah.
The two schematics basically show.
Okay,
Yeah.
the two. So I just like to mark those as exhibits and get them in the record when you're done, okay?
Right. We have-
So mark them A and B.
Which one is that?
Okay. That
This
is the green
20%.
space.
No, this is a 20% plan. On this side is the 15% extra parking plan. And when we were here last month, we had a plan that basically met
Okay.
the zoning regulations with a couple extra parking spaces.
And just for clarification, all three of the plans have 150 apartments?
All three of the plans have 150 apartments. However, the plan that meets the parking requirements has a different ratio of one bedroom and two bedroom and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And as we,
Rich?
And again, the number of affordable apartments you're going to have?
under the regulation, it's required to be 10%. And I understand that there's a desire to have more than 10%. That's something I can't commit to right now without my client's consent, but that's something I will talk to him about. I will tell you, the rents they anticipate charging for these are de facto affordable. They would meet, when you do the calculation for affordable housing units, there's a calculation for the rent you can charge based on the median income and things like that. The rent you can charge actually probably comes higher than what these are going to go for.
But if we don't put it in the, it won't count.
I agree that
Yeah.
the concern.
Just to make sure I understand, the rent you're planning to charge anyway meets what you'd be required to for affordable?
Generally, that's right, because
So we
you'd be
could
surprised
ask-
when
So
you...
we could ask for 100% affordable?
No, you can't. It does affect our ability to get financing.
I'm just,
could ask.
I'm trying to figure this out here.
Yeah, I mean, here's, it's
I'm not
a,
suggesting that.
right, no, and I appreciate that. Here's the problem, is right now we have a text change that calls for 10% affordable, which obviously we have to live with. You can't change the 10% on the fly right now, so all I can promise to you is if this amendment gets approved, I will take it back to my client to see if he can increase the percentage of affordable. And I guess what I'm saying is my conversation with him is you end up charging the same rents anyway, so there's no harm in increasing the percentage of affordable. Because when you do the analysis, and we've done the analysis for other properties in the greater New Haven area, the rents you can charge and be considered affordable under 8-30G are actually less than the market rents in a lot of respects.
So I guess this is an important issue here. If I look at this, the tax change that Attorney Lee is proposing is clearly articulated, okay? Now, Teresa, you're saying you would like him to write into the reg, revise the reg, correct me if I'm wrong,
You are correct.
to require from
More
this
than 10.
time on 20% affordable. Okay. Now, you can't commit because you've got to talk to your client.
I can't commit because, one, I have to talk to my client, and two, in order to achieve that, we'd have to withdraw this application, resubmit another application, go to the regional council. It's, probably a 3-month process to get back before.
Do you
planning and
think it
zoning on that.
would require that? Do you think the context of the application has changed substantially such that it would have to go back to regional plan? I think the letter that we had from regional plan, if I'm wrong, had indicated that they didn't need to look at it any longer. Not sure, I have to
Yeah.
check.
I guess
Do
I'll
you
do-
think?
Yeah, I mean, I'll defer to the town on the issue of whether it's got to go back to the regional plan. From my perspective, a residential rental use is the same whether it's affordable or not affordable, so you're not changing the underlying use of the property,
Right.
so.
Yeah, that's kind of just the way I was viewing it, but understanding, notwithstanding the issue where you've got to speak to your client, which doesn't surprise me at all, but okay.
Okay, let's get back to Rich. I don't know where you're at.
No, he answered my question about the affordable housing.
That's it. Okay. Joe? No, you're up. Okay, and then we've got the 4 commissioners in here. Okay, well, Teresa talked about putting in additional affordable housing. Now, what is your feeling about that? It's something that I can't put in here.
It's something, I understand the desire, I can't commit to it this second. I can try to make a phone call, but I can't commit to it this second. Then there's always the question of, and I'll defer to the town once again, is whether you can change the regulation on the fly right now. So basically, there's 2 options, assuming my client is willing to proceed based on an increased affordable, and economically, I'm not sure it's going to make a big difference to him. Then, well, let me just verify that with him.
Okay.
Well, if we can leave it at that, I think we do have the email from Eugene at Scrog, and he just indicated that staff determined further review was not required based on this being a relatively small scope change. And, as you say, I view the way you view it, it's all just housing, so it doesn't really affect them, how the rent structure works per se,
Right.
relative to, the effects on Long Island Sound or what have you. So anyway, I'm okay with that. I would tend to not send it back for review. So I don't know if you want to hold it over and see
Well,
if Attorney
we'll
Lee
find
can
that
make
out.
a call.
Wait a minute. We got, Ron is concerned about an approval on this, Melissa's 20% added into it.
I mean, I understand where they're coming from, and in a perfect world, well, I'm between a rock and a hard place, because I like extra parking, and I'm not alone, the police like extra parking. I also like extra green space, so if I had to vote right now, I'd probably compromise at 15%. Take
Okay.
some
Well, I
extra
can't-
parking and some extra-
I can't put that
And I-
into an approval.
Now, I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch the issue with the parking. I mean, inside of the regulation as it currently is written, says the Planning and Zoning Commission may require additional parking in its discretion. So the way I read that, casting aside the way that Attorney Lee might read that for his client, is you can ask for whatever you want in terms of that parking that has some sort of basis in fact. So you're asking him to rewrite? I didn't quite hear that.
So is it your opinion that within the reg, without modifying the reg, if and when either Attorney Lee or his client or some future client comes with a site plan, we're perfectly within our rights to ask for additional parking at that time?
Yeah, I can just read you and you tell me. It's 3 sentences. There shall be no less than 1 parking space per bedroom for each residential dwelling unit. Non-residential parking shall be calculated in accordance with section 8.5.1 of these regulations. The Planning and Zoning Commission may require additional parking in its discretion. And then it goes on to speak about the residential
All
component
right, so I,
and the use factor. So that's there now. I put that in when it was
No,
written
I-
because I wanted you to have the power to really, you have that power now on other applications.
okay, I appreciate that, and with that in mind, I would be willing to not require an amendment to the amendment.
Yeah.
Or do we make that decision at the site plan time?
We're gonna-
Right, we can make a
Right.
decision.
Well, you have two, you have a site plan and a special permit.
Okay.
So I think the
So-
authority of the special permit actually allows you to do that,
I'm,
Okay.
but either way.
in fairness, as long as the applicant knows what's coming down the road, I don't have a problem with delaying the zoning change at this time for parking.
Good enough. Let's hold it right
Right,
there.
I understand, and we can deal with it at the time we submit the
Yep.
special permit, because,
We'll
like you
kick it
said,
down the road and
we got
we'll deal
we have
with
the
it.
margin to play with, so we can figure out what works best for
Okay.
everybody.
You're good? I mean, as far as the additional, he's gonna take a look
Right.
into that, but we're gonna
Right.
prove it the way it is because we can't add it to it.
No,
But
no, no,
he's-
no.
Well, Teresa, go ahead.
Okay,
Have your say.
I'm not hearing, is it correct that we cannot add it at this time? I cannot add it at this time, but we can wait till next month, or can we really not add it if you talk to your client? We cannot amend the text of the amendment?
I don't think we can.
Hold it, he can,
but
if you're
not us.
saying, could you just approve it and change the number of the affordable from 10 to 20? I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
You could approve it or deny it.
Right.
If he agrees to include it, I believe you can approve it with that included.
Yes.
Got it. That's how I'm okay for me.
Okay, good enough.
And if I can just offer this up, maybe you could take one of these and pass them down. I just want to do some, the amendment was amendment number 11 in our regs, okay? And amendment number 14 and amendment number 16. I just assembled all that stuff for you folks, and you can have that. So
Thank you.
Pam worked very hard Xeroxing all that stuff,
Thank
so I
you.
want to give it to you.
Mr. Chair, could I either ask to have 1 minute to make a phone call, or do you mind to close the public hearing? I'll just let you know whether it's something like that.
Well, let me finish it up, and I'll keep it open.
Sure.
Okay? Good. Rich, you have anything else that you'd like to say?
No, I guess I would be very happy to hear how this telephone call goes.
Okay. Okay, well, the commission's good. Okay, let me go to the public, and let me see, is there anyone here in favor of this application? Anyone in favor? Anyone in opposition? Anyone in opposition? Any questions? Okay, the public end of this is out for the moment, And we're all off for the moment until Tim goes and does what he has to do. We'll keep this open and we'll continue with the meeting. We'll bring you back, okay? Thank you. Very good,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, the next one is John Polter. See ya. Yeah, you can take that down. This is P 1835.
If when Tim is done, you want to interrupt me so you can continue
I
that?
certainly do,
More than happy.
if you don't mind.
No, don't mind at all.
Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, for the record, John Paul Garcia.
That's right.
I'm here representing the owners of property at 5557 Dodge Avenue. This is a commercial site at the intersection of Dodge and Dwight Street. And what the applicant is proposing to do is a 12,000 square foot addition on the west side of an existing industrial building. Right now, the area is a green space, so we're not taking parking and creating an impervious area, we're actually removing some of the green space. As part of the application, we show a sidewalk around the perimeter of the site, which we would be asking for a waiver of, assuming the commission would like to do it. The intent of the application is for this addition, which is to be used for commercial purposes. He has an industrial storage use. They're in the process of retrofitting this building now for some offices. There were some architectural plans that were submitted, but they're intending to put offices in, commercial and manufacturing, and industrial storage. So that's the purpose, basically, of the application. It's just a simple 12,000 square foot storage facility added to an existing industrial building. We have received some review comments, and the site's approximately 6 3/4 acres. Part of the problem, we started this process back in January. It's taken 7 months to get health department approval, because under the health department regulations, you have to put in a septic system for the entire structure, and the septic system is designed upon a use and occupancy load, which originally comes out to about 1,200 people if you take the building code at its face value. We were able to get down to approximately 311 people, which you would never see in this building anyways, but for health department purposes, that's what you have to design a septic system for. So it's taken approximately 7 to 8 months to get a septic system design approved by Quinnipiac Valley Health, a copy of which you have in your meeting package. It's not going to be built at this time. It's only going to be built if the existing system fails. But you have to jump through that hoop, and it's a very, very narrow hoop.
Okay.
And we have a bunch of review comments. I don't know if you want me to go over them. Most of them appear to be minor and bookkeeping type. As an example, we showed the trees. We didn't call it the caliper. He wants to see a curb detail. Andy had asked for some detention or some drainage calculation for the proposed addition, which was submitted back in January, and he wasn't aware of it because he wasn't here. Excuse me if you don't want. Since Tim's here. No, I can.
Go ahead, finish up.
Okay. And so that's basically it. It's the review comments are relatively innocuous. They have to do with adding the application number to the title block, size of trees, a couple of details. We have dumpster storage, dumpster pads, screen dumpster pads in the front of the building. He wants a dumpster pad in the back of the building, so we have to add an additional dumpster pad. They want some islands. I showed trees here, and they want islands around the trees. And that's basically it. It's mostly bookkeeping and housekeeping.
Do you have any problem with those?
No, there's nothing here that's why I said it's 90% of it is just adding a note.
Andy, you good with everything there?
Yeah, I mean, my only concern was there wasn't any drainage computations in the submission, the formal submission that came in. But my predecessor had some discussions with John Paul and going over that, decided on concepts, and I'm okay. I still need to see the calculations, still need to see the final numbers on it all, but conceptually I'm fine with what he's proposed.
You're okay.
That was my biggest issue, was the drainage.
Alan?
Yes, I think John Paul's characterization of it is accurate. I think there are more graphic details than anything else.
Okay, so we don't have any problem here, and we don't have any problem there.
No.
Okay, good.
We actually show the detention, that's why I said, this happened back in January. Andy wasn't aware of it. I actually showed him the calculation that we had given to Jonathan back in January, but it's been 9 months, 10 months, and Andy's new on board, so I'll just redo it again. And if he has some additional changes, we have plenty of room to work with it.
Good enough.
And it's gorgeous soils.
Teresa, any
No,
questions?
the zero, the caliper of the trees, everything's gonna be called out? I mean,
Yeah, I call out the trees, I didn't put the 2-inch in.
Okay, all right. Okay,
know,
that's.
I do have a question, I'm sorry. On the north side, there's a rectangle that looked like a dumpster. You do show a dumpster on the south side now.
This was a dumpster pad, but I swear he told me he was taking this out. But if you want it back in there, I'll just put the dumpster pad back. Because this
said
is
he
presently a
He's got
dumpster
one in the
pad.
back
He
anyway.
wants one in the back anyway.
He
right?
wants one in the back anyway, so I'll just tell him he's got to keep it.
Okay, fair enough. And then we'll just put this screening or whatever. That's
Yeah,
fine.
because we show the dumpster pads and the screening in the front. We just didn't have anything here.
Okay, I don't think there's anything else there.
You satisfied, Alan?
Yes.
Okay, good. Alon, you got any questions now?
I mean, first, it's delightful to see you with an application that doesn't have wetlands on it. So,
That makes two of us.
yeah,
I thought you were walk.
It's killing me not to walk.
Okay,
I felt something emanating.
hold on,
what?
hold on.
But
You're out of place.
Out of order? Oh, I'm sorry, you asked me.
I know.
Sorry.
I stand corrected. Jim?
Well, this is my question. When this came in January, wasn't there an issue about locating something in the septic system they were having trouble locating?
Yeah, we had trouble finding the septic system.
Right.
We had trouble, believe me when I tell you, it was a comedy of errors.
But that's what I remember. There was a problem finding it. So I
Not
think
only finding it, but the size of it. They wanted a septic system size for 1,200 people.
Right.
I mean, we don't do theater size for 1,200 people, and yet, like I said, it took 9 months to get this through the state.
But that's what my question is. So we did find whatever they needed
Yes,
to find?
there's a septic system here, and there's a septic system here.
Okay. So,
And you have an approval from
Is that-
QVHD.
We do have a letter from QVHD.
well, and I do have a thing from QVHD, and it says, "I've reviewed and hereby approve your proposed septic repair plan," and you're telling me you're not actually going to do it.
That's correct, because this is,
So explain that to me.
Okay.
That's my question.
when you add to any structure,
Yeah,
that's called a B100A addition in accordance with State Public Health Code Section B100A. And what that provides for is that when you have any addition that takes away from any potential repair area, you have to prove that you have a 100% code compliant septic repair area remaining after the addition is installed. So this is like your house, this is, everybody who's ever done a house addition or a building addition. So we're doing a building addition. We now have to prove that we have a 100% code compliant area
if this system fails.
if the system that's existing there fails. It doesn't have to be installed now, you just have to identify it.
I get it.
And that's why Andy's comment is, at the time when we have to repair this, we have to come in with a full-blown site plan. And that was there is actually a septic repair plan here, it actually has the calculations. We had to go out and do tube samples, it was not a pleasant experience.
But that was my issue. So Andy, that's accurate. It's like this, you just have to have a plan in place that if that system fails, that you can fix it.
Correct.
And have a place to do
And I
it.
did some research on some prior approvals on that property.
Right.
And was able to find plans that show approximately the location of the existing septic systems that are out there. So I'm confident that.
So do we know
Yeah.
they are actually where you're
Oh, yeah,
saying
they actually
are?
replaced the tank. There's a 1,500-gallon tank we found was caved in. The soils were so good, even though the tank was caved in, it was still functioning.
So, that you kind of went by my actual question.
I probably-
We do know that is
Yes.
where the septic system
There's a
really
system here,
is.
and it's called out, and there's a system here, and it's called out. There's some D-boxes right here. There's a pump. There's actually two separate systems.
And that statement, Andy, you're good with?
Yes.
It's actually there?
Yeah, no, that's definitely true.
So they did dig a hole and they found it.
Well, I remember that they couldn't find it. And I said, okay, and we're 9 months later, and did we find it? And is QVHD happy with everything?
And I can confirm the locations are consistent with the prior plans that
Yeah,
were approved years
okay.
ago, so.
Good enough.
But because they didn't see it, They had made this, dug it up to find it.
The building doesn't, I'm good.
Yeah.
So I'm good.
All right. Hey,
Thank you.
Jim, they didn't hoodwink you
That's
today.
okay. I am here, Bert. It was killing me not to say anything before.
All right, I'm sorry. Ron, I'm over to you. For sure, I'm gonna stick with you now.
It sounds
I know,
like,
you're delightful.
sounds like everybody's okay, including you, with all of the staff comments.
Yeah.
The one thing we haven't talked about is sidewalks. I'm assuming that per previous,
Excuse me, Ron, could you speak up a little bit?
sorry,
Thank you.
I'm assuming that the commission, based upon previous practice in this neighborhood, will be willing to waive the sidewalks.
So that's why I asked for it.
Well, he asked for it, isn't it?
Right, but we hadn't discussed it. and
Well, we're not in deliberation yet.
Okay, just want to make sure everybody's aware of it. Otherwise, I have no problems.
Very good. Thank you, Ron. Rich,
Now, the
we've
only
got
thing,
time.
I noticed that some new buildings have gone up, they have these, I don't know, high-intensity lights that are really glaring. So when you're putting lighting around this building,
We would have to conform to your regulations, but more importantly, I think the intensity, the last couple of months and the last couple of jobs I've done, we've used LED lighting, which is full cutoff LED lighting, and it's a very low intensity lighting. It does a beautiful job, the bulbs last forever, and it's not these glaring, it's not even half as bright as these things.
yeah. Okay.
And that's one of the questions he had.
It is, my comment C, he needs to indicate on the drawings proposed type, mounting height, location, direction, power, timing of all proposed outdoor lighting.
To eliminate your problem of fugitive light.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want more than 1 foot candle to trespass over that property line. The new lights are much better for that. They're more directable, and they are dark sky compliant lights, which means they don't have the glow from a distance. They point the light down and less spills out into the sky, etc. Hence the name.
And they're cheaper to run. They run forever on a $5 bill.
It's a good development.
That's all I got.
Okay. Joe?
No, I got nothing.
No, well, good enough. Okay. It looks like everybody's satisfied here. You guys are all set over there? Yep. Of course, John, you know, everything that's going to be, if it's just approved, of course, everything that all the comments are included in all of it.
Oh, yeah, we'd have to go back with Alan and Andy and make sure everything's done. Because then you couldn't pull your building permit until we could.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Minor suggestion,
Yes, sir.
for the LED lights, be careful what photocells you specify. We had a bad failure rate at Groton's, at the Groton subbase, because of the photocells, not
I'm not
the
kidding.
lights, yeah.
Interesting.
Just look into it.
I'll be done with it tomorrow.
Check that out. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Good, good enough. Okay, John Paul, thank you. That closes this public, this site plan application. Tim?
Yep, Tim Lee, for the record, again, just to follow up on our discussion before, I did speak with my client. He's willing to incorporate a 20% affordability component into the regulation.
Thank you.
You satisfied
Thank
with
you
that,
so much.
Teresa?
I am very satisfied.
Okay, good enough.
Thank you.
Thanks. Tim. Okay, we're gonna move forward, I guess, here.
Now, are you going to close that at this point
I
then?
did, did I just close it?
I wasn't sure.
I thought I did.
Usually you bang the gavel real hard.
Bang it quick for a change.
I wasn't ready for that.
We're closing that site plan.
No, public hearing.
The public hearing, I'm sorry, for Tim Lee. Okay, that's it. You're closed, everybody's
I'm
closed.
leaving.
All right.
Have a happy Thanksgiving. If I don't see you, have a Merry Christmas.
You too, thanks.
Good night, John. P 1836, Tim Lee, on 124 Mansfield Road.
Hi, Tim Lee. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Slate School. The commission may recall you were kind enough to approve the Slate School a year ago. They worked very hard. They got the school built over the summer. The school opened its doors in September. The site came out beautiful. I would welcome you, and I know Jennifer Clark is here. She would welcome you all to come out to the property to take a look at that. She'd be happy to walk you around and show you everything you did. It really is an impressive development, and we thank you for approving it. Before I go any further, I'm here tonight with Paolo Campos. He's the architect, and Jason Williams from Maloney McBroom. They're the project engineers. Jennifer Clark is here along with Julie Montcastle. She is the headmaster of the school. We're here tonight, and what we hope is a relatively simple application is to just to amend the site plan to allow an entry gate at the front of the property. As you can imagine, 2018 school safety is a paramount issue. A number of the parents have asked for what security measures the school is taking. We are looking to propose a security gate system at the property, basically 50 or so feet off the property outside the front yard setback requirements. During the morning hours and the afternoon hours when school opens and school closes, the gate will be automatically open, so be open permanently so that students and parents can get in and out of the school. But on the non-peak hours, before I go there, the gate will remain in an open position from 8 a.m. to 9:15 and will be in an open position again from 2:45 to 3:30. The rest of the time, the gate will be in the closed position, and in order to access the property, you'll have to ring a microphone at the gate, and somebody in the main office will buzz you in. That's the gist of the application. It's relatively simple, surely for security reasons, and no increase in school size, no increase in enrollment, no increase in anything like that.
No, I have enough on everything I need to know about it. Jim? No.
Well, here's my question. I don't have a problem with it, and I get it, I understand it. So let's say in the middle of the night, it's closed, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if there's an issue there and there's a police or fire presence needed? How would they get in?
Yeah, and that was one of the questions from
Yeah.
town staff. It's actually hardwired so that if there's an emergency call, it will default to the open position. There's two alternatives for that. One, you can give the police a fob or a key that will allow them to open the gate. Or the second is if there's an alarm, if there's an incident, the police have a code that they can open up the gate on their own.
That has been addressed.
That was a police comment. They said
Yeah.
we could do one of those two alternatives.
Yeah.
Right.
That's in addition to the Knox box, right?
Yeah.
Well,
that is-
the fire marshal's, the fire chief's comments, that's kind of what that means. I don't know if you know what a Knox box is, but it's
No,
a box that's
Yep.
mounted probably on one of the columns or the piers. It's locked. The fire department has a key. In the box is the key to the gate or the access code. So they have these all over town. It's a dark bronze box. Churches, schools, and it enables them to not have to take an axe to your front door. So the Knox boxes on commercial buildings give them access. So what he's asking for, fire marshal, is, fire chief, is a Knox box with either the key fob or the access code, or both.
Okay, fine, so far, whatever, the police and fire, if they're happy, I'm happy. Here's my other question. Now, what does the two sides of this gate attach to? Like, is there a perimeter fence all around?
It doesn't.
Does that make the entire area secure, or could somebody go around the fence?
A person on foot could go around
A foot, but
the
not a
fence,
car.
a vehicle.
So this would
Correct.
just stop cars from going down that driveway,
Correct.
which I guess is
Got it?
fine.
No,
Lisa?
I'm fine as long as we have the Knox box.
Rich?
As long as they got that key box.
Good. Joe?
No, I'm good.
Good enough.
I'm going to have Paolo Campos, if you just want to address the issue of the knock box, I just want to make sure I explained it correctly, because there's two alternatives. One is to hardwire it, and the other one is to have the box that has the fob. So I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page.
So for the record, Paolo Campos, Patrick and Architects in New Haven, Connecticut. As Tim mentioned, architect of record on the project. There will be a Knox box. There already is a Knox box at the main entry of the school, which provides the fire department with access both via key fob and manual key to all of the buildings. There will be a very similar unit installed at the primary call box, which you see located here in the island. That Knox box will provide them with access to a key fob or to a manual key operator for accessing and controlling the gate. So if for some reason, say there's a power failure, the gate is closed and the system which opens the gate is not functional, they can still open that Knox box, get the crank out, and open the gate themselves. So there is constant access provided no matter the situation.
Excuse me, can I have your company again?
Patrick Quinn Architects.
Thank you.
Very good.
It's good,
Thank you so much. Yeah. Joe, I think we ended you or we yours, not?
Just a second. So, just to be 100% clear, you're perfectly okay with all of staff comments and the fire department comments?
We are, as a matter of fact, we've already have revised plans to address those comments that we'll submit to the town tomorrow.
I have no other questions.
Yeah, you're good. Tim, you're good with everything as far as that goes?
We're good with everything.
Yeah, okay, good enough. Very good. Any question?
My biggest concern is really just access during construction and the constructability of it. Yeah, beyond that, most of my comments were just, kind of detail type stuff.
Yeah.
Which I'm not that concerned about, I'd like to see them, but, the access during construction was my biggest concern.
Right, and we're going to do the construction next summer during non-school
Okay.
time.
Perfect.
So we've done a lot of work to get to the point where we are right now. The students are there, and we're going to, wait until the summertime to put the gate in.
And I'm assuming for during construction, for police and fire access, you make provisions for that as part of the construction of the project.
Correct.
That's
Good to go?
That was my biggest concern, yeah.
Good enough. Alan? Good. Okay, that'll close this site plan application. Move on to, Alan, we're going to other, which is 275 Valley Service Road.
Hi, excuse me. My name's Eric Golinowski.
Hold on. Eric, spell your last name.
GOLINOWSKI.
Thank you.
I run the only game in town. I lease the property. Looking to open it all year round, and I need to put a propane tank on the right side of the building in a non-flood zone.
That's, are you gonna put it in, or?
No, Quality Propane is going to put it in. They filled out all the application and sent you guys all the stuff.
Okay.
I'm just here on.
Good enough. Jim, are you ready for this?
I'm just trying to figure out exactly, is
Facing the woods.
is it that little circle in the back
Yeah.
there?
It is a yellow highlighted circle or oval, yeah.
And do we have any issue about bollards or there being, it doesn't look like a car can
No,
actually
there's
get
no
back
access
there.
back there,
There's no
so-
access, so you're comfortable with it going back there? I don't have any
Yeah,
problem
yeah,
that you
my
want to heat
biggest
the building,
concern-
Yeah.
that's fine.
No,
Just wanna
there
make
is
sure it's a
there is
safety
access.
issue.
There is a little driveway back there.
Sure. You gotta stay
There is a
up.
little driveway to the tank?
Yeah,
Just service,
just service.
not for the public.
No cars go back there?
No, there's a whole gate and
Okay,
everything.
okay, all right.
Just to get back to the golf ball washer and stuff like that.
Okay, so you're comfortable
No,
with that?
I'm fine with
My
that.
biggest concern was really in the building in the floodplain.
You know,
I
dig it,
believe
put
that it's located in the 500-year
Yeah.
floodplain, but not the 100-year
Oh, okay.
floodplain. You gotta tuck it up close to the building to stay out of the 100-year floodplain.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I think we're good. I happened to-
That property really
I had the
floods.
desk, so
Oh, okay.
I'm about it.
the property becomes a lake when it's
Yeah.
springtime.
Tim, I think they got it in about the only spot they could.
Right, that would be my guess, yeah, based on being there.
Jim,
Okay,
you all set?
yep,
Jim?
good.
My question just applies to the flood zone. There's no need for any concrete anchors and straps and everything to hold this thing down?
No, it's outside the 100-year flood zone. It's just in the limits of the 500, but it'll be elevated above the, where the actual flood waters will get to.
So even if we have a 500-year storm, which I'm
Yeah,
sure
you're
we're
not,
gonna...
yeah, you're not gonna have enough depth to float the tank away. I guess.
Okay, that's my concern. I don't want a 1,000-gallon tank floating down the
It's
river.
full of propane, right?
Yeah.
That might be a problem.
Okay, if you're comfortable with that, then I'm okay.
Good enough, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, change of use, 117 Washington Avenue, Unit 19.
evening. Joe Maruzzi, owner of Washington Commons, 117 Washington Avenue, asking the commission for change of use for unit number 19, which was formerly the Namco space, to a chiropractic business. And it just points out the unit 19, 1,470 square feet.
Thanks.
Thank you.
It's part of the old Namco space. And
So it's
just
part of
asking-
it, right? It's not the
Yeah,
whole.
Just a little piece of it, 1,400 square feet, 1,470. And just asking for a change of use.
So the back of that, what was formerly J.C. Penney, will be the health club that's previously approved.
Yes.
Then you
The back.
got that, yeah. And previously, when Joe came in, he kept those spaces retail. That was his best guess on what would go in there. This is a minor change, so.
Yep.
No problem.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. 2001 Whitney Avenue.
Hi, my name is Jessica Johnson. I'm the owner of Indulge Day Spa and Boutique, and I'm also looking for a change of use. It was formerly a sandwich shop, and I would like it to change it to the day spa, if possible.
It is what now, a sandwich shop now? And you want to change it to a,
A day spa.
okay. That's over right by Skip Street? Yeah, I'm quite familiar with this. Jim, you got any
Yeah,
questions?
just give me a little idea what do you mean by a day spa? And this is the space next to the, is it kayak, kala, whatever?
Yes, right next to Pala. The day spa will offer beauty services and sell boutique products as well.
Okay, and is there, between the two sites, is there enough parking in the back there for
Yes.
everybody? I think there probably is still. Okay.
It was kind of a winner in terms of parking, just because that was the sandwich board.
I know, right.
And so you go from 1 to 75 to, your
Much
guess
less.
as good as mine, whatever a day spot is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm very happy.
Joe? Rich?
I'm all set.
Ron?
No questions.
Okay,
Thank
Lynn,
you.
thank you. Okay, 262 State Street.
For the record, my name is Ray Pantalina, representing 262 State Street. It's a change of use going from retail to a medical office. It's 2,450 square feet. I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Jim?
Well,
You might as well ask
so
the
what's
questions.
there
I got
now?
I got the same question, so go ahead.
It's a vacant, well, it's partially vacant building. It used to be People's Medical.
Oh, yeah.
Approximately 9,000 square feet. It's vacant.
So you're taking a piece of that?
2,450 square feet.
The piece that he's taking was retail, was the pharmacy.
Right.
The building was divided up into some office, some retail, some warehouse, believe it or not. So anyways, kind of split up. Again, Ray's sort of dealing with, playing the hand he was dealt. He's trying to release, the space. so-
Repurpose the building.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
To fill it. So what is this space going to be?
It's a chiropractor, a medical office.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. That's all I have.
I'm good.
This is, what is in there now?
It's vacant.
Oh, it's vacant, okay.
It's classified as retail. This-
Oh, it's retail? Okay, so we're going from retail. Good enough. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, with that, we will, I think we can go right into deliberation. If you want to take a break, we can take a break, folks.
I'm okay.
Let's keep going.
Go.
You want to keep going? Okay, sure. Okay, on the, I think everybody's satisfied on the, you got the 20%, we've got the parking
We
issue.
have to vote to go into deliberation.
I'll get there with you. Got that? Teresa, you good with that? Yeah. Rich?
Yes, I'm in agreement with it.
Okay. Ron, can we get a motion to go into deliberation?
I move to go into deliberation.
Can I get a second?
Jim?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I think that everything has been worked out here. I think so. Are you all set, Teresa?
I am all set, Vern, yes, thank you.
Ron? You on the parking, you good with everything now? I'm sorry?
I have withdrawn my condition about parking, but how are we dealing with the affordable housing?
The affordable housing is going in at 20%.
Oh, well, that's what I hadn't heard that.
Well, I'm gonna make it right
spoken.
now.
Okay, then
I'm just asking how you with this.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Vern, we're doing the amendment, are we?
Yeah, we're gonna add that to the amendment, and Pam, you got the amendment as he stated it? Okay, can you add in 20%?
Well, hold on, so the amendment is what it says on the proposed amendment, but you're gonna look for, I guess, a motion to approve with the condition that the affordable housing comes up. Maybe Teresa could make that
I
motion.
think she should. I think she should. I just want to make sure we have the motion first. We have that, Pam, right?
The motion?
Okay, yes.
No, we don't. We had the motion to go into deliberations.
Yeah, no, I just made a motion to approve this
Thank you.
with the additional 20%.
I'll catch up with you in a minute.
Okay.
Thank you. Guys,
Good.
I'm confused. No, you made the motion, I'm sorry, Vern.
Yes.
Teresa, you
Teresa's gonna
seconded
pick it
the
up right
motion?
now. Yeah, go ahead, Teresa.
Yeah, okay, well, I'm gonna,
Just do it. Just make the motion.
okay, I'm gonna make the motion that we approve with.
Excuse me, Vern, you made a motion for what? I'm confused.
I want to make sure that we have, I make a motion to get the 20%
thank you.
into
Okay, so I'm gonna now make it,
Thank you,
I think.
the whole, but make the whole amendment.
I am going to make a motion that we approve the amendment with the one change that the affordable housing component be changed from 10% to 20%.
Right. Good enough?
I'll
Thank
second
you.
that motion.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Beautiful.
Just note, I didn't vote on that.
So that's approved for.
Four,
Joe
four,
Salvini
four.
didn't vote on it either.
Okay. The,
No, Joe.
okay, could I get a motion to approve 57 Dodge Avenue with a waiver of sidewalks?
I'll make the motion.
Have a second?
Well, do we need to do it?
Oh, do
With
you
the
want to discuss the
conditions.
sidewalks?
No,
Oh.
I just
I
meant,
do.
don't we have to, okay. All right, then.
But just discuss it. I mean,
Okay.
it's just like, I just want to point out,
All right, well, let me, for clarity, I'm making the motion to approve the application with all applicable staff comments, but approving their request to waive the sidewalk.
right.
Good.
Ask for a
I
second.
will second that.
Okay.
I will second that.
So all I'm saying is let's have a little
Yes.
discussion first
Okay.
before we vote.
You want, okay, we'll have this about the sidewalks. Yeah.
Well, just-
I'll
you
be
can
right-
discuss anything we want.
I'll be
but-
right, I'll be right with you.
Okay, so come back to it.
You got anything you want to talk about? The sidewalk? Joe? No, okay, Jim?
Yeah, I don't have a problem, actually. I just want to point out that we have been very proactive about putting sidewalks in places that we've deemed them to be appropriate, which is most of the town, in my opinion. This is a fairly unique area. It's a industrial park. There aren't any there. I don't care about them not being any there. We've gone through that before, and people told us sidewalks nowhere, I don't care. But we remain very diligent about requiring sidewalks. This is not one that it makes a lot of sense even to me. So I just wanted to make sure that for anybody who is watching or for future applicants, one, I'm very happy to see they were on the plan and then asked for the waiver, not they gave us a plan without them. And two, that it still remains a very big issue in town.
Well said. Okay,
I appreciate the commission's consistency. It's extremely helpful to staff.
very good. Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ladies, good. Okay, the Slate School on the installation of gates.
I'll make a
in the
motion
front.
to approve the application with all staff and police and fire comments.
And I'll second that.
Any discussion? Jim?
No, that makes
Okay.
absolute sense to me.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good enough, thank you. All right, let's get down to 275 Valley Service Road, propane tank.
Do we
Can I
actually,
get a motion?
well, do we do a motion? It's not really an application.
No, it
it's
isn't
just an
really, but
other. Do
we
we
need
just,
It's an act, yes.
We need to prove
Yeah,
that, no?
if you make a decision, we'll include in the notes.
so,
of decision.
so we need, I will make a motion that we allow this applicant to put the propane tank where he's shown us on their
Good enough.
plan.
I'll
Second?
I'll second.
Good. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good. Okay, change of use on 117 Washington Avenue, Unit 19.
I'll make a motion to approve, and I want to say thank you to the owner again for coming.
Okay,
Yeah,
got a second?
I will second both comments. It's very useful when the owner of the property shows up.
Absolutely.
It's appreciated.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good. All right, 2001 Whitney Avenue.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 262 State Street. I get a motion to approve the 2,450 feet that he wants to get those, that in there.
Make a motion to approve it.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Correspondence, Alan?
Well, you have the newsletter, and they are very helpful, and
Yep.
I hope you enjoy reading them.
Very good. Okay, can I get a motion to approve the minutes for October 1,
Make a
2018?
motion to approve that.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So that's 4 to 0.
Right. Anything else to come before the
Yeah,
commission?
you got bonds on there, man.
Bonds.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I missed that bond, yes, all right. Bonds for Quinnipiac Avenue, P16-09, 120 Quinnipiac Avenue. Alan, what is that?
Yeah.
But that's
The fuel.
First Fuels corporate headquarters. He had approved it some time back, and I believe they've completed their work. And
There was a few landscape issues that had to be taken care of, but outside of that,
Good to go?
that's been done, it's taken care of.
100%, okay.
So this was just the actual building for their corporate headquarters?
Right, right. Yeah, parking and, yeah.
they store the oil trucks inside.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they're all.
Andy, is this 100% still?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, can I get a motion to release that bond, 100%?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Oh, go
Okay.
ahead. No, take.
Good enough.
Rich?
Rich seconded, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Sorry, you made the motion, Rich seconded?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, P16-20-25, 392 State Street. Alan?
That was the dredging of the pond, at Whitewood Pond.
Right.
Yep.
And everyone looked at it.
Everybody looked at it numerous times. Yeah.
Done deal?
Yep, done deal.
Okay, can I-
What was the issue that we were looking at? Just out of curiosity. I remember they came to get approval to go and dredge the pond. So what, see, was done correctly? What is it that, what was the bond for?
The bond, there was some public risk in a way because they flowed downhill right into the state system on State Street. And they had to remove all the sediment, they had to de-water it, they had to keep their own water on their own property or let it drip out at a rate that didn't exceed what was there in the system. And they had to finish it up and clean it up. For a while, for some reason, their contractor got offline, and it took a little longer than they thought.
Yeah, this was a while ago.
But they got them back, they finished it up, and then they had to clean up also. They had some silt fence in the dewatering area. Andy came on board after it was all nice and clean and pretty much done. He said, yeah, I don't see a problem there.
So do we confirm that it works the way, I don't remember what the issue was, that it works the way it's supposed
Well,
to
it's
work?
really just dredging, they're just trying to get the sediment out of the pond.
Just
So
clean all
So
the
you're
floor.
all you do
satisfied?
is check and see it's not a mess when they're done, essentially?
Yeah, the biggest problem with pond dredging is you're gonna make a mess on the upland area when you do water. So, and I think that was the biggest issue with this, was the cleanup of that afterwards, which is always a more difficult process, so, but it's all set at this point.
I'll give you one more thing they were doing. The water was flowing out of the pond and back into the system, and that's what the gentleman, the owner, had said when he came in. Dave Kaplan. And they reversed the pipe such that the water flows out of the storm system, goes through the two ponds, and then exits at the bottom, which was the way it was originally designed. I have no idea why they changed it. They changed it probably 20 years ago. They must have had an issue. But when I went out there, water was cascading from the first pond into the second pond, and I believe that that's the direction that it was always intended to go.
Okay, thank you.
Seemed to be repaired.
Jim?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I just want to know what's going on.
I don't want
Make a
them,
motion
you
to
don't,
approve that release.
I'll second.
okay. Anything else?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Goodbye. Is there anything else before it comes to the commission?
Yes, there is. Quinnipiac,
Yeah.
where are those,
Well, I don't know. I continually remind, and I think I saw a copy on
Ask Laura to
an
come here
email.
next month
okay, so I would like the zoning enforcement officer to come next month.
and explain why we don't have them or she's not making them give them to us. That was an agreement Quinnipiac gave us a long time ago. They were supposed to give us the places these kids are living. They're just not doing it, so she should come and tell us when.
Or produce the list.
You need it,
Or
yeah.
get the list, or bring Quinnipiac.
Yeah, all three maybe.
Wait a minute. Can't you provide the information you want to know and not show up?
Yes.
Okay, that's it. Okay, I'm glad. A motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Alan, you got that?
You don't want.
The preceding program is brought to you in part through a grant from the town of North Haven. Watch town meetings or other videos on demand at nhtv.com.